Hi there, and welcome to my channel. The channel I'm still calling, for the moment, work in progress, as I'm really still kind of in this phase of letting things kind of fall into place. Obviously, there's this spiritual side to this channel for me. Wanting to talk about a lot of different situations, what's going on in everyone's life during this, what I believe is our evolutionary time, and this, and experiencing being a human during this time, and blah, 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 and also have this attitude, or it's not really an attitude, it's a sense that it would be great if we all could share our stories of our life's journey. You, me, just, everyday people. So that's still in place, and I'm still very much of the mindset that I want to start to interview and colleges have a conversation through Zoom with people that would be willing to share their stories, whether that be challenges that they overcame that could help someone, or challenges that they're in, near-death experiences that they've had, broad spectrum there. So reminding everybody that, or anybody that's listening to this that would like to do that, that my contact information is right below the video. And I'll remind at the end as well. So let's get to it. What I really want to discuss in this video, and I think I might even have somewhat of a series of videos on this subject of why am I here? Have you ever asked yourself, what is my purpose here? What have I come to do? We come into this world, we incarnate into this body. Before we incarnate, we have a plan. We even have a contract that we've agreed to come in for a particular purpose and reason, to learn something, to maybe give something, I don't know, but definitely to learn something. And then once we incarnate, we completely forget what that was. We have amnesia. So the game, if you want to call it a game, is we end up getting clues, because we do have a script in place. We do have a pattern or a theme that runs throughout our life that is about the reason or the purpose that we're here in this particular lifetime. So that's kind of the clues that we get throughout our lives of maybe why we're here. And, we have a certain interest in things, or we have certain challenges with things. It's everywhere, all over the place. But mine happens to be a pattern that I've had that I kind of get clearer and clearer on what's my purpose, or why did I come here. And the word that's come up for me most recently along this line is adversity. That's really been the pattern in my life, is dealing with or experiencing adversity in ways that could look like everyday life. So coming into this world as a very young child, there was adversity. I'm going to use that word because that word just seems to really resonate with me, with my mother. So through my entire childhood, growing up until I was 18 and left the house, my mother would today be called emotional abuse, but I was never perfect enough, or good enough, or smart enough, or anything enough for my mother. And she repeatedly let me know this all the time. And even in the rest of the family, I would kind of be a joke sometimes of how I struggled with math or school, and the math part was into what my father had, a business establishment. I loved to go to work for him during my early teens, and it required me to give change out of a cash register. In those days, it didn't tell you how much to give. And so they would joke about the day I worked at my dad's. It was the day he probably lost money. And so it was an ongoing theme. It just ran on, and it created a lot of, obviously, issues for me in growing up. But from early childhood, one of the things that happened, and I've talked about this in another video, so I'll be very brief, is very young, like 4, 5, 6, I created, so I lived in a house where we had these keyholes, an older home, the keyholes in the door that went to my room, and I would talk to this keyhole and say, I'm not who they say I am. And the keyhole somehow was talking back, supporting, no, you're not who they say you are. And then I kind of grew up with this mission, if you will, to I'm going to prove I'm not who they say I am, but it was really to prove to myself. So somehow I was able to, at least from the outer world, overcome all the ridicule and adversity that was happening in my life throughout, in the larger part of my family as well, which I won't go into right now. But I was able to, at least, like I said, in the outer world, it looked like I had overcome that in the sense that I was able to achieve certain things. And and supposedly I was extremely shy as a child. I got over that. So I conquered, let's put it that way, a lot of things. I didn't know why I was doing that. I really didn't. It's really taken me years to kind of peel the onion. So you peel a little bit and I get a little bit of understanding, what's my purpose here? Why am I here? Now, we come in with this theme, but the theme isn't so simple, like, oh, my theme's adversity, so I don't fit in, or I don't follow the typical way of doing things, or because I have certain challenges maybe, and like how to do things, I find another way. But so I don't mean adversity that I'm always fighting. In fact, not at all. The thing that led to another piece of this feeling, the experience of adversity, is I would become a very supportive friend, really supporting friends in a very positive way, and very much being the message to them that they're doing great, and whatever I could do to help them feel good about what they were doing. But then the other piece to that was I was a people pleaser. Why? Because I didn't want to experience the adversity. So oftentimes I would just people please, twist myself into a pretzel, so to speak, in order not to cause this adversity. And I would do that until I just couldn't do that anymore. And that's kind of how it was with my family. And there was a lot of pressure on me always through other parts of the family to be on speaking terms with my mother, which I oftentimes couldn't be for my own emotional, mental health. But then when I wasn't speaking to my mother, she was giving my grandmother and my aunt so much heartache over it that they would say to me, if you're not talking to your mom, you can't really have any relationship with us, because we really can't deal with your mother's constant complaining to us about it. So that just gives you a teeny bit of the picture. So why I want to talk about this is I think that it really helps to begin to see all the little pieces and patterns that can happen in any events in our life that are clues to why we particularly react a certain way. For me, in the most recent times, to talk more of the general recent times, is when the pandemic hit, I became so fearful that it wasn't typically who I am, but it really triggered something in me of tremendous fear, and made, really, because I didn't feel I was in control. I felt so unsafe. Now, this is again the pattern in my life. I grew up feeling emotionally unsafe. And so when we grow up emotionally unsafe, I know this like from friends that grew up with alcoholic parent or parents, it's an unsafe feeling. It's kind of walking on glass all the time. You don't know where things stand, and so you begin to want to really control things in your life. And so when the pandemic hit and triggered this fear, and I felt totally like I had no control, like if I walked out my front door, I was gonna get deathly ill, and end up in a hospital. I mean, it was just over the top, but that's where I was. And so this control thing came up. And so we're not that far, or I don't know if we're completely out of the pandemic, no, but further away, it's 2023. So now that part has relaxed somewhat, not completely, but it's definitely relaxed. And so I'm now beginning to catch myself feeling like a octopus with all these arms out there trying to control every little teeny facet of my life. So that's the thing that got triggered now, and is coming up at this late age, this late time in my life, my last chapter, and triggering where I'm trying to control, but it's taken me a little bit of time and unpleasant experiences to start to see this. And finally, yesterday, I finally began to see through this whole thing of control in the most ridiculous or bizarre way. My husband had gone to the grocery store, and I wanted him to get me a certain cleaner for the bathroom. And this grocery store, or a lot of places, they don't always have everything right now, because supposedly we're still in this supply chain thing. And anyway, he came home with a completely wrong product, thinking he got the right thing, and I found myself getting really upset. Now, I didn't let him see the upset, I just watched it, and I finally asked, why am I feeling this so upset of this thing now that we have to try to take back to this particular store, which is not the best when it comes to customer service. So I started building this story. But when I really kept peeling away at it yesterday, I realized in a very low, like eye-opener way, oh wow, this is part of this control thing. Like, I don't want any hiccups or upsets in my life, and this is an upset because we'll have to go back to the store and see if they'll take it back, and yada yada. That part isn't important. What's important is I saw it. When I saw it, when I saw through what was going on, it opened a space for me to really take a look at this control thing I have going on, and what is this about, and look at it from a different lens, is the best way to say it. And then this morning, when I'm doing my automatic writing, I'm asking, actually, in my automatic writing, what is my purpose here? What am I here for? And, you know, I believe we're all here to learn, right? We're here to learn something. Why exactly that is, or what it is, I'm not sure the why of it. I'm not even sure why we do it, but I do know we come in to learn something. And that word adversity came up in my automatic writing, explaining all the different ways that I've been through adversity, and I purposely came in to have this adversity. So I reincarnated as a female, so in the 50s, so that's definitely, or actually I was born in the 40s, so yeah, do the math. So that came in where females, and still today, let's face it, are still struggling with certain issues of being a female. I grew up Jewish, so there was more adversity there. Then I had the family adversity, and oh my God, it goes on and on. I was married and divorced, adversity there, have children with that person, and there was adversity because of the divorce, and it would go on and on. I mean, literally, it's been a very specific pattern in my life that I've not really seen so clearly through until now. And probably there's a lot more to dig, I don't know. But I feel I resonate with this idea that my purpose was to learn from adversity. And I think, and now when I'm doing my automatic writing today, was told that right now my purpose is to recognize my own self-worth, to actually live live in a way of being self-worthy, having worthiness. Because what's happened through all this adversity situation, it's very hard for me to feel worthy. Deep root wounds have happened. Now, I haven't been so aware of that. I can't say that's been a real big part of my life. In fact, I think I wouldn't have even been aware of it for a long time. So when people talk about self-love, do you have self-love, self-nurturing, I go into kind of like a fog. Like, I don't know what that means. So today, when I'm getting this in my automatic writing about, now I'm at a point of being able to experience, and that's what I came in to do, to experience self-love, self-caring, worthiness, that I'm worthy of taking up space on this planet, so to speak. Now, right now, that I don't know what that means, really. I don't, deep down, I don't know what it means, but I resonate. I know it's true. I just don't know how I'm going to do it. And maybe this channel's part of that for me, learning to be able to speak who I am, and when there's criticism, to be able to be okay with that, not think it's adversity, because criticism is hard for me when I honestly look. Yeah, criticism is hard. So, well, I guess, nobody loves criticism, but we all have our little, triggers that will happen around that. So I felt drawn to be able to talk about what is our purpose, and hopefully some of you that are listening will first of all comment, but definitely I hope you'd be willing to have a conversation on Zoom that we can have on this channel about what your purpose has been, or even just talk about the purposes. Everybody comes in with a purpose, that I know. Everybody. How many of us actually get in touch completely with that purpose, or in any possible way with that purpose? I don't know. I do know, when I hear interviews of a lot of the near-death experiencers, oftentimes they're told their purpose during their near-death experience. Gotta take a sip. Still got rainy weather and dry heat in the house. So, yeah, there's no doubt, come with a purpose. It's done it before we get here. And the goal, I don't know what you want to call it, is to try to figure that out while we're here and experience whatever it is we're supposed to experience around that. And it's not simple, it's complex, because it's not just one thing, because it spirals out other things. So adversity, maybe that's the main theme for me, but from that spirals out people pleasing, and I'm going to prove to them I'm not who they say I am. And there's just a whole complex and complexity of what has emerged or happened throughout my life in different relationships with friends, families, so forth, and my children. So it's been certainly really challenging at times, but I have kind of a sense of gratitude, and I don't know. Like part of this question now seems to be opening up so I can look at this deeper. So I can begin to dig in and say, all right, when do I learn this? Have I learned it? When, how does this shift for me? At the end, what is this about? The purpose. Maybe there's more to it about why we've come into a particular life. I had a past life done with a person that did it. I forgot how this happened. I didn't meet the person. They didn't even live here. It was many, many years ago, but a past life, kind of a regression, but I can't remember exactly. I think he did it through asking me questions. Man, I can't remember. But what I do remember, what was very clear, what came out of it, is my last life was being being very submissive, and that I was in a very submissive relationship. So this life supposedly is about not being submissive. Now that kind of makes sense to me, right? Because in order to not be submissive, that doesn't mean to take away the issues. It's actually put them in my face through this adversity to where I could become very submissive to what's going on. I could have become that during my childhood, easily been put into that situation to where I would just be submissive, and God knows, I don't know what that life would have been like. So that's given me a little bit of a clue also. Now, I've never done another past life regression. They're more, I think that's much more advanced today than what I did years ago, but still in all, that makes sense to me. So I think that's going to be kind of what I want to talk about right now in terms of this, what we've come in to learn in this life. What is our purpose? Some people call it, what is our mission? I think in my next video, I'm going to talk about, we watched the movie last night about the, I think his name is it Bill Wilson? It's the guy that started AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and very interesting about his life and definitely adversity. So I might talk a little bit about that, like it seems, sometimes it's easier to see somebody else's life, maybe what they came in to learn. So, yeah, so I'll speak more about that. I didn't finish watching the movie. I'm going to do that today, so I'll have a clearer picture of what he had to go through, and yeah. Or people come in with illnesses, people come in with disabilities, blind, paralyzed, crippled. Oh my God, there's so many things that can happen, disabilities, birth issues that happen in birth or genetically. Oh my God, it's huge. It's a huge, huge piece of the puzzle, because I think there's way more people than we realize that come in with so many different ways of having to do, or not having to, but how they enter into this reincarnation. We have our own little world, at least that's how I see it, that I grew up in and moved through, and even though I moved a lot of places and made many, many different friends, and whether different religions and race, etc., it still is a small world as one person. It's kind of like, there's just one teeny, teeny, teeny breadcrumb of all that goes on out there. So I just think it would be amazing if we could share, if I could get some people to share about what they think about their purpose, do it on Zoom, and let's see where that goes. I get really excited about this idea, so I hope I'm making, or maybe having somebody react in the same way of thinking this could be a good idea and they want to be a part of it. So first of all, if you like this video, please click like, please subscribe, And then there's that little doodad next to the subscribe button that lets, if you click on that, it'll let you know when a new video is published or posted. And as I said, my contact information is below this video, so it's a link that you can connect with and contact me. I promise you I will get back with you. And let's see where this will go. Maybe we can start to look at this channel as more than work in progress. Yeah, if not, that's okay. Maybe it's always, you know what? Maybe it's always should be work in progress. Maybe that's a healthy way to look at this. Anyway, I think I've said enough today. Hopefully, this might have spurred something in somebody out there. I hope it's helped somebody. That's always the goal in making this video, is hopefully somebody can resonate or it's helped somebody in some particular way. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you the next time. And I'll remind you, I have this little clicker that I click this video off with, and sometimes it takes a little bit of clicking to do. So if you just see me sitting here, click, 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 you'll understand why. So here we go, click.